We're at the global unveil of the Mahindra Lifestyler, or as it will be known in India as the Mahindra Scorpio Lifestyler. And with us today is Nalinikanth Gollagunta, or Nal as he's known as. So, Nal, thank you for having us here.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
And congrats on the global unveil. So,
Thank you. Super excited to show it to you guys.
yeah, so Nal, I have to start straight away with what this car is: a lifestyle pickup.
Yep.
That's not a segment that's really large in India. It is internationally, right? But it's not a very large segment in India. So what are your plans for this car? Is this going to be a predominantly export-oriented model, or are you looking at growing the segment in India? Like, I mean, at the Thar, like you said, right? I mean, people wouldn't have thought that this segment should have existed, but it is. You guys have sort of created that. So is that what you're trying to do here? Or is it an export-oriented market?
Yeah, so it's a good point, Sergius. If you look at it in 2023, when we put out the concept in South Africa,
Right.
we called it the global pickup.
Right.
And it was a global product made for global markets with global standards. But along the way, over the last 3 years, as we developed the product, we kept looking at India,
Right.
and the market is becoming a lot more sophisticated,
Right.
right? And part of what we are seeing is some of those themes, we call them the Reef Edition, we call them the Valley Edition, Trail Edition.
Right.
Really, it's a little bit of an expression of what we are seeing in the market, right?
Right.
Weekend farming is becoming a big thing.
Right.
Whether in Mumbai, where people go to Karjat,
Right.
you're in Bangalore, you go to Shoolagiri.
Yeah,
And
true.
we think that market is an interesting space to go
Okay.
into because they want to bring vegetables back, not for themselves, for their
Okay.
families and friends in their apartment
Right.
complexes, right? Coffee estates
Right.
want a vehicle which differentiates themselves from the cheaper
Right.
vehicles to that extent, yet not really stretch themselves
Right.
to a much more luxurious vehicle. That's an area we think we're going to. Adventure sports
Right.
is a great space. Surfing is becoming big.
With the reef,
Rafting is
yeah.
becoming big. And people want to have their own gear and haul
Right.
their own gear, right? So it's a little bit of that. We don't necessarily look at it from a market at that point in time. If you feel a market can go, we want to go after it. Scorpio was that in 2002.
Yes.
SUVs was not even a segment. We kind of grew that. 2020 Thar was that. So we're looking where the market is taking us to that
Right.
extent. But of course, at a value proposition which is attractive.
Okay.
That has to be core. And you saw the pricing we
Right.
talked about as well. We didn't get into a
Correct.
lot of details.
Right. Yeah. So what you're saying essentially, Nal, is that you are looking to grow this in India also.
Absolutely.
This is an India also product. It's
Yep.
not just global, right? So great. So let's talk. Let's say the global markets, right? You've got Australia, you've got New Zealand, you've got South Africa, where you'll assemble the current pickup.
Yep.
As well. Will you all also assemble this over there, or is India going to be like a home room for CBUs only? What's your
it's-
strategy?
I think it could be a mix of all these different strategies. Australia, of course, is a market where youths are pretty big.
Right.
And we've been exporting to Australia for quite some time now.
Right.
And so that legacy, we should be able to follow up with what this is.
Okay.
We have a presence in terms of manufacturing in South Africa, potentially something we can explore for this product in South Africa.
Okay.
But looking beyond, we think this is a product we can take to other markets which we have not looked at. Indonesia as a market, we have explored over the last few months.
Yeah.
We started with the commercial business. We
Right.
think we have a good read of what that looks like. So we think that could be an interesting place. Left-hand drive markets like Chile, we think there's an opportunity there as well, right?
Okay.
So we're going to be tap into this.
Right.
We have about 5-6 months now to kind of take this product
Correct.
out because we've shown it. We can show it to
Right.
customers and do segmentation.
Right.
So great opportunity for us to showcase and see where else we could go.
Okay, and I mean, it's pretty obvious to conclude that with this, you'll also have a single cab because this is the dual cab for markets like maybe Thailand, where pickups are also popular, right? So, what are the other sort of variants do you see on this, Nal? I mean, there's of course the dual cab, there's a single cab. Are you going to guys get into maybe the I don't know what they call it like in markets like South Africa, where you have a canopy on the
Yeah.
rear? Is that all part of your product line?
Yeah, this is all, we think that there are multiple options on what we could extend
Okay.
this product in some form or shape. But that's part of what we're going to be doing from now till April for us to understand what we could do with the product in which market. We don't want to take everything to every market.
Got it.
So it could be specific product
Right.
propositions we want to take to each of these
Right.
markets.
And since this is a global product, I want to ask you about your global strategy. Is
Yeah.
this a signal of Mahindra now sort of really trying to flex your muscle globally? You are there in a few markets, but is this sort of that inflection point where you're going to go? What's the global strategy for Mahindra? What's the playbook look like for the next, say, 5 years?
Yeah, that's a great question. So obviously, as you know, we've done very well in India. But at the same time, if you look at it, globally, we think there's opportunities for us. We've had some forays in the global market in the past. But now we want to be very clear that we need to have a compelling right to win for us to go into these markets. This is part of that strategy. We have the EVs, the Englobe BEVs, were built with global standards.
Right.
We believe there is a strategy where we can take that into those markets as well. So it's going to be a set of things we can go, but with a very specific right to win. If you're convinced there's a right to win, we'll go into that market. We don't want to take all the products into every market. That's really what not we want to do.
Right. So your global strategy would be market defined by that specific country.
Correct.
Right. I mean, so what you're saying is essentially, let's say South Africa, where I know EVs aren't really popular, you might not see EVs there.
We'll have to see how that plays out. So, but you got to remember, whenever we talk about it, one of the things people tell us is, yeah, but you're in the third largest market in the world.
Right.
Right? So
Correct.
I got to make sure I'm balancing between a market which is growing, doing very well, and we have a very strong brand proposition.
Right.
Plus, what do we do outside as well? So that's a balance we have to create.
That's true, because I mean, a lot of global brands, when they are competing in India, let's say, you've got a lot of global markets to balance in terms of demand, life cycle management. Whereas Mahindra, I think the advantage with Mahindra has been, you've been laser focused on India and can respond instantly to India, life cycle management, things like that. Are you putting in place anything to manage global markets, in terms of, let's say, different design studios? You have one in the UK. Or different plants. Is there something in the future you're looking at?
We're starting to think where we can go. Of course, once we agree on which are the footprints we want to create, then the rest of the capabilities will get built out. We are scaling up the teams, looking at international. We want to put the right leadership team. So that's something we are building as well as a muscle for us. And we're looking at opportunity spaces which will give a beachhead. Indonesia is a classic example. Commercial gave us a beachhead.
Right.
But then now we know the market. We have the folks there who can tell us what do we need to do, right? So we're hoping that we'll get some of these beachheads where we can expand from.
Amazing. And just a last maybe one or two questions. I know there's a long line of people waiting to talk to you. But so in India, like you said during your presentation, this is going to be a Scorpio Lifestyler because you want to build these brands. And I think you'll have already announced this, that you're going to have Scorpio, Bolero, all of these specific brands and expanding like the Thar. The pickups right now, we've got Scorpio and you have Bolero. Do you see as a strategy, do you want to expand the pickups into other verticals, or are there certain brands you won't touch? Like Thar could also be, technically speaking, a pickup. Like, you have let's say the Gladiator abroad and things like that. Or are you going to just concentrate on these two brands with pickups?
Yeah, so listen, I think never say never.
Okay.
We watch the customers very closely.
Right.
We listen to them. If we believe there is a segment where the customers are leading us saying, okay, this is a space we can go, we're open to kind of opening the franchise on any of these brands as well, right? So I wouldn't say we're going to close that door at this point in time, but let's see where this goes. Scorpio for us is very apt for this market.
Right.
It kind of expresses what the product stands for.
Right.
But of course, we believe there's a market with the Thar off-roading to that extent. Yeah, potentially.
Right, because Australia is, the youths quite often are monocoques there, right? Not naturally ladder on frame. So what you're saying is never say never. You could look at
You could, and then we have an entire new IQ platform we showced last August as well.
Yes,
So
correct.
multiple different ways you could potentially take that to the global markets.
Right. Amazing, amazing, great. So now the last question before I leave you, the pricing, right? And availability. Now, unfortunately, you've gotten a lot of us excited, but we have to wait until next year when we can actually see this and know the exact price. 19.79 or less than 19.79 is what you'll promise, and something to do with our independence, I think, is what we were saying.
It's the 79th Independence Day for us. So.
Right, okay. So when will customers be able to walk into the showroom, test drive this car, see it? And I know you're not going to tell us the exact pricing, but if you could give us maybe like a range or something like that, what's the plan?
Hard to say. The reason we have done this is we want to spend time understanding the segments.
Okay.
The reason we put out a range of what the product pricing would look like is because we want to get feedback.
Okay.
We want to understand the market a little bit. So, but come April, we'll be ready for sure, the prime time.
Great. Hope to see you then, and perhaps before as well.
Yeah.
Thanks a ton.
Thank you. Thank you, Sergius.